G'day viewers, welcome to the Goat Shed, located in Newcastle, New South Wales, Australia. Now for those of you that don't know, Newcastle is located on the east coast and is the 7th largest city in Australia. And both Graham and I have lived here pretty well all our lives, except Graham spent 3 years of his life a little south of the Newcastle area. So it's Saturday, the 7th of October 2023. It's 15 degrees Celsius outside, which equates to approximately 59 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's a somewhat overcast day with a light wind blowing from the south, which is reasonably unusual for this time of year. We've had some really odd weather. We've had weather in the past week or two in the 90 degree Fahrenheit mark, which is very, very unusual. We had 4 or 5 days of that. So maybe we're in for a hot summer, as this is only the 2nd month of spring. Earlier this morning we did a live broadcast for our What's Happening in October, albeit a little late this month, but needless to say we've done that, and that's now up and posted on our channel. So we hope if you couldn't join us live, you might want to have a little look at that. So we're back on to CardWiz. We did a video on this a few weeks ago where we started CardWiz and went through some of the stuff we'd have to do on it. Now we've really gotten into it now, and we did make some discoveries, and I thought we might share with you some of the things that we've been doing on this game. Now first of all, in the previous video we mentioned 1 or 2 of these rubbers were missing, so there was only one missing, so we've replaced that now. We carry those in stock. They rest on the scoring switches on the drop targets. Now we have discovered something in the drop target when we pulled it apart that we were not happy with, and we decided we really should do something about it, and I'm going to show you that in a moment. It's to do with the reset arm and a part broken off it, which isn't anywhere to be found, so that's presented a little bit of a dilemma, but we'll move on to that in a moment. We have the sequence bank sort of hanging out of it up the back there. What we weren't happy with was a couple of the switch actuators weren't falling properly. In other words, they weren't doing this. When they were tripped to close it, they more or less should come down and rest on the bar, but they were sort of very sluggish and only going like part way, not fully. So what we've done, we've got these few out at the moment here. The springs are quite good on them. What we discovered was the following. This is the armature plate we have here. I'll get that in shot for you. And what we had a lot of grease and everything on the lip of that there. So we've cleaned the inside and we've given this a polish on the buff wheel. And 1 or 2 of them we've found a little bit of a groove in here. So we're gonna try and fix it up with a Dremel or even change it over. We've got a number of these. And remember, this is the game where we found that nut and the holding nut on the other side had actually fallen out, so one side of this was flopping around. So we've put that back in and fixed that up. What else have we found on this? Now let me see. Well, we've put a flipper kit in it and we've put a pop bumper kit in it. That's par for the course. Now CardWiz is one of these Ed Krinsky games where he used some rather complex circuitry, particularly in the bone, and the bonus is really funky the way it's done. They use like one of these modular ASFS step units in it. Now notice this one's got a number of wires sort of jumped. You don't normally see that on a match unit or that, because it's only got 1 plug on it. Most of them have 2. And I think the idea of that is, there's where it plugs into there. The idea of that is there's the arrows that move when you score the bonus up and down. That's for the lighting of that, I think, without looking at the schematic. But we're going to go through when we start the game up and show you what we find wrong with it. And we think we know of a few things that will give us a little bit of trouble, and we'll attend to those things. as we go. But there's Graham back onto that now. He's just putting those plates back in. I think we've shown this in a video before, but what I'll endeavour to do, I'll endeavour to take this over here and we'll show you what's going on. So let's just have a little look and we'll show you what he's doing. So all you do, that's the plate, you put it in, you've got to get it under the lip on the other side, it's easy to do, then you just got to get it in the gap here, and you've got to fit the spring on. Now the idea with those springs is you've got to make sure you put them on the way they came out. So
the end of the loop's going down on
the flat part of the loop goes on this side, and then you hook it on.
You grab it with your fingers.
Get your spring hook. If you haven't got a spring hook, you need to get one. Someone asked through our course the other day when we did a training course, what tools I recommended. There, he's got them all in now. Oh, one to go, sorry.
No, two to go.
Two to go. And we told the basic tools. I did do a video on what tools to use for electromechanical repairs. Only I left out two of the most important tools for some unknown reason at the time, which was a point file and a switchblade adjusting tool. So that's part of the course that goes with them. Now there he goes with that other one, just putting it in. Like, this is all just basic mechanical stuff. I mean, putting springs and things on parts. I'll put him on test now. Oh, look at that, he got it first go. How's that? He's just got this one to do here.
Yes.
So they snap a lot better.
Yeah, once you get that grease off, it's impeding a lot.
See, before these were sticking and they weren't getting, see how they all sit level with the bar?
We'll have a lot of trouble with lights mainly.
So it makes a big difference. I mean, I mentioned before, this is a game that was bought and regrettably sold for a lot of money, and really it needed an awful lot of work. But when it leaves here, it will work
and it's going to be very happy.
As it should. The playfield's cleaned up really, really nicely. We'll show you that a little later when we turn it over. It's got a few dings and scratches in it which can't be helped.
Well, it's been mylar right up the middle, so if anyone wants to take it off, but we didn't think it needed it actually.
So it's up to the owner.
So they're all done now.
I think they'll leave it there. So you can hear them snap into place, and that's what you want to hear. Where before you could barely hear them.
We took it out. We could have done it without taking out the screws, but it's better to have it on its side and let gravity take over, because if you do it up on the edge there, you'll have all sorts of trouble putting springs on and all. And it only takes a minute just to undo those screws, which makes life a lot easier.
Yeah, and it's like, that's got wire continuities running through. Always get a meter and check them. See, it's like on the drop targets here. You've got the feed green and yellow and black, and they feed right through the switches. You always check your continuity because they can break off. In fact, we found a broken one, or one that was ready to break off, on the drop target plate, on the other side of the plate, on the switches that indicate what targets are actually down and send signals to the bonus unit. So that was a good find for us. Probably saved a little bit of mucking around. Oh, the joy and fun of working on electromechanical games. But it is fun.
There's our spring hook in action if you want to have a look at that.
Oh, that's the spring screwdriver he's talking about. Pull it out again, because we didn't...
We'll do another one.
Okay, so this is a spring screwdriver. This I made this about 50 years ago. It's what it is. It's a rod with two old hacksaw blades. Soldered in. Put it in the screw. You start the screw. You don't screw it in with it. Take it out, and away you go. There's a closer look at it.
Very handy.
Yeah, I made that in about, I think 1970, maybe something like that. You can buy them commercially, people, so you don't have to make one if you don't want to. But when I was an apprentice, that was part of the job. You had to make one, and you had to make a spring hook. So this spring hook I've got here, this isn't a made one. This is a bought one. You can see the join in it. That's my pointer. But I need to fix the end on that up too. But you can make them. If you're friendly with your dentist, they've got the old dental picks they use. When they finish with them, they get rid of them and buy new ones. You can get them too. Let's have a look at the other part we're talking about on this drop targets, okay? Now here's the drop target unit out of the game, and this is the back frame. That's the little butterfly bit that pushes out and changes the state of the switches to tell it when they're closed. What we found on this drop target we've got here, see this bit here? That often breaks away and people weld them on. So it's sort of, that's the bit that hits the triggers and helps trigger them down. That's about, an 1/8 of an inch thick, I guess. What's occurred is this one here, it's totally missing. So, there it is there. Now, we put a call for help out on the Facebook groups, and 2 people from America have come up with them. But of course, it's a 9 target bank assembly we want. That's called the reset bar.
We've got 10 ones.
We don't have one, and to get it from America is going to take time, anywhere up to a month by the time it gets shipped and paid for. So what we decided to do is engineer one. Now what we've done, this is the channel out of where the back door sits in. That's what that is. And what it does, it seems to fit. Now the only thing...
It fits perfect.
It's about the same thickness, but it won't be bent. It won't be sort of bent out at an angle. We're going to try and bend it.
We might have actually grind about 3 or 4 mil off the top here.
Yeah, we might have to experiment with it a bit.
We're going to hit the top of the
triggers. So we want to have a look how much taller it is.
And plus, we've managed to cut it with the 3 screw holes. So all I've got to do is put that in, get it to roughly where I want it, and then drill straight through there and put the screw and the nut on it.
Okay, so what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to get it the height of this one. That's what we're going to have to do. So, now it's a bit of fiddle farting around, but look, you've got to do what you've got to do.
But I think it's going to work okay.
Yeah. Well, now bear in mind, if we put that in the way it was without that bar, we put new drop target triggers in this game. Yeah. Those triggers would be worn out in no time at all again. They'd get grooves in them, and the guy would be back to where he started from.
After 2 months, you'd have only 2 or 3 targets coming up.
Yeah, that's right. So we want to do a good job. Do it right, do it once. That's my motto. You've heard me say that before, and that's because that's the way I was taught. Now, we'll just go away and light engineer that, I suppose. When we had our training course here recently, we had a few people come up and we had our pin fest. We received a couple of donations, and I'd like to acknowledge those donations right now. A chap called Alex Barashev gave us a tumbler, and that's much appreciated to Alex. Now, I think Alex is more into solid state pinball machines, and we're not, but he knows the good work we do here, and we've already used it once or twice, and it does a good job. We've only tried it with the metal balls and the media at the moment, a bit of water and detergent, seem to work okay. We've got some tumbling media. We received a meter from Vince, and that's very, very much appreciated. So we'll use that meter probably out here on this bench, so we don't have to go in and out of getting meters. We received a goat shed sign from Russell from Queensland. Russell Lilly sent us that goat shed sign. That's indicating our next branch office in the state of New York, USA. We'll see you soon. No, we're only joking. And we received 2 coffee mugs, which I think I had in shot out in the other room there. They were donated to us by a chap from down southern New South Wales who'd come up and done one of our courses, and his name's Luke Fuller. So they're much appreciated, Luke. So for those of you that haven't seen a drop target assembly apart, we sort of got this up to this point and decided, yeah, that's when we'd do the modification that we've got to do. So wish us luck there. That's a bit of an undertaking. And we actually had to make for a big shot the series bar. You know, that's this little bar here, that bar. We had a busted series bar. We had to make one of those out of something or other we made and joined it up because it was broken there and the bit was missing. I guess, you know, and that game, Big Shot, they've got a 7-bank target because the 8 balls are a bullseye target. So they're rare, you know, you normally got, you know, 5-bank, 10-bank, 9-bank. I guess they've got all over the shop, aren't they? But yeah, there's several different ones. Who's seen our goat shed sign? There it is. Let's have a look at that. Now that's been done by our artist in residence, Linda. She'll be around later on for a barbecue lunch. Oh, there's the... So that's come up nice. That's going to be hung indoors here. So that's exactly the same as our tin signs, but a big one made on melamine. So how cool is that, people? Really, really cool. So that was cut out on a CNC machine. And then, you know, it was obviously just all white. I think we've shown people that before. And that's how it came up as a finished result. It looks pretty good. Very, very down to the fine art there. Look at that. Really nice. Really, really nice. A lot of work went into that. There you go. Alright, let's just see what else is happening. Letting you in on the goat shed engineering department. There's Graham with a hammer in his hand. That's always a dangerous and scary thing. But he's forming that up. What he's got a bit of round metal in there, which is just a little bit bigger than the channel to make it sort of fold out a bit to give it that effect that we were talking about. Is it working?
No, this is...
Oh, that's just to flatten it down on the bar, is it?
It's got a bit of a gap, but it's good now.
Oh, I see what he done. Yeah, he wanted that bar to go flat onto the other because it was a tight fit.
That's off the bumper.
Yeah, there's a pop bumper plunger. You got to use what you've got to use. Now he's going to use the vice grip pliers to squeeze that down.
And that'll hold that in place while I drill through that hole.
Oh, you're going to drill, yeah, okay, so we're going to drill the holes out, put a little nut and bolt on
one there, and there's one in the middle, but I've got to turn the other side over.
Right, okay.
So I'll get them two done.
And what about what we're going to do about the height, or are we happy with that or not?
Well, we're going to have a quick look at that. I think we'll be okay.
Okay.
But well, I'll still say, I'll still put out the grind a bit off there, but that won't take time.
All right, okay. But it's a bit of an experiment, people, like this. It's not something you do every day, of course. So we've actually completed work on the motorboard. Now, you might recall from the previous video that there was a bit of a mess with all the wiring up toward the back. Now we've tidied that up, so we did that absolutely first. So as always, we've removed the motorboard out of the game. There it is there, and we've put it on the bench, and you can just see on here there are some cable ties. Yes, I know, cable ties. A lot of people don't like using those. But, you know, we weren't sure whether we would need to pull anything else apart because we didn't know what had happened. This particular wire here, which is going to the game over relay, something that had that out for a reason. And when we were going through the motorboard, we did find on the game over relay there was a switch really not touching properly at all. So goodness knows that may have had something to do with the problem, and you know, they just have sort of done a bit of an ad hoc repair, for want of a better word. You know, you don't know why people have done what they've done in the past. Now, the only other major problem we found on the motorboard was that the switches on the score motor were very greasy. Now, what I did, I got some kerosene, sprayed that on and sort of scrubbed the top of them, and then let that dry out, and then got some isopropyl and did very much the same thing, and it's pretty well, and we took it out of its cradle and we oiled the motor. The motor wasn't too bad. Someone obviously had oiled it before. And what else do we do? Oh, the slam switch down there, that one, that was sort of bent upwards. God knows why. Who knows? We fixed that up. And we've gone through every relay. We found a couple of wires not, that were about to break off. We've soldered them on. One was on the first ball relay, which is the U or U relay, and I think the other one was on, it might have been on the game over relay. You can see that red tape up there. Someone had done that before. That was their way of trying to tape down that yellow wire. We didn't need to change the line cord on this. It was okay. But we also had to put cable ties. You could just see up the back on the cable set going up from the motorboard to the back box. So they've had a lot of it apart. Oh, and the other thing is we put a ground wire on the game going to the front door from the switch. Oh no, we didn't. It was broken. The ground wire was broken, and we re-terminated that. So I don't think you can see that there. Let's just have a quick look here. So the bit of tape around the green wire, the black tape, we had to fix that. It was cut away, and that's going to the front door. Once again, who knows why people do these things? We have no idea whatsoever. Alright, now we'll start troubleshooting the game. Right, so just before we go on to the troubleshooting, I thought we'd show you the finished product. So what we've done, we've fitted that channel as we said. We've
just a bit of channel out off the back.
Bit of channel out of a back box. We had a few laying around here. We've bolted it on with nuts using nylon nuts.
So it shouldn't come loose.
Yeah, hopefully it shouldn't shake loose. And then to make the gap, or to make the angle, and we've got a bit of an angle, it's a little bit hard to see. What we did, we got I think Graham's going to get it now. We got a bit of
it's
a socket spanner.
It's actually a spark plug spanner.
Oh, there you go, spark plug spanner, same thing, socket
so
spanner.
All we do is put it on there.
Put it in the vise and squeeze it.
Squeeze it together, but you got to have the plate on the rod first, because if you don't, it's going to go all W-shaped.
Yeah, so we had it bolted on, and then we done it in there.
Yeah, so you got to have the actual.
Now, if you look at this closely, one side's a little higher than the other. That doesn't matter, because the side on the right, where here, that side, there, that's the one that's going to hit the triggers.
That's going to be hitting there to there.
Let's see.
From that's the side that's going to be there.
That's the smaller side going to be hit the trigger.
The other side's okay, but you can adjust it with those screws. It's got plenty of area there. I reckon it'll just miss it. But if it doesn't, we'll just have to take it out and grind it a little bit off. Yeah, so it's our first go at ever making one of these, and it just goes to show you can do things if you put your mind to it. And plus, we used another pinball part to make it.
Well, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point, isn't it?
So nothing goes to waste.
Nothing here in the goat shed. All right, so as I said, I just thought that well worth sharing with you, and we're going to start putting that back together. But one thing we are going to do while we've got this apart, we're going to cut the springs or put new ones in. I think these springs, they pull the targets down, just maybe a loop off each of them. The targets are a bit greasy. We're cleaning out the best we can. I don't think the guy wanted to invest in brand new targets. They're not too bad. There they are. They're not too bad. Alright. So you can do magic. So we did do magic. We've repaired that drop target mech reset bar. as we showed you a little earlier, with that modification utilising a spare old backdoor channel. I really haven't shown you a picture of the playfield since we put it back together either, so there it is there. It's not sure, what's it say, tongue-tied there. It's not sort of perfect. There are some little marks that have been here for a long time, but we were just going to get it going. Now, what happens is drop targets will reset. Look at that. But we've actually started the game and it's kicked a ball or served a ball, but it hasn't reset the score reels. Now why would that be? Okay, so that's somewhat problematic. That's no good. Yeah. Alright, well, to discover that, we're going to have a little look at the schematic and see what we can figure out, hey? I'm sure it's just something fairly simple. So as the reset sequence wasn't starting, what we need to do is have a look at this part of the circuit here. Now, you can see here's the first player reset, the second player reset, and it kind of starts over here on this side to get that to fire and operate. So we weren't getting anything. As you saw, there's scores on player 1 and nothing was happening. So we have a look. The AX relay is involved and has to pull in, switch on the S relay. We come over here, it gets its pulse from motor 1A. That's the inside switch that resets the score unit. It comes along here with a blue and white and red wire up to here, and here we've got a switch on P4E and a switch on P3E that are normally closed, and they'll come up, and once those score reels are all at 0, the add player unit will operate and step to the next player. Now, I suspect that one of these switches here, 3E or 4E, and I'm going to look at 3E first, that's a brown, white and red. I would suggest one of those isn't closed, preventing that sequence from starting up. Let's see. Okay, so I've had a look at that switch on 3E in the player unit, and it did appear not to be touching real good. So let's try that now and see what happens. Success! Oh, helps if we put the ball in the trough to kick it out. Beautiful. Now, let's have a look at some of the features on the machine and see what else we can find. So we have gone through, as I said, and repaired that drop target unit. We're pretty happy about that, because that would have given the guy a lot of grief. Now, all I'm going to do now, I'm just going to roll over some of these switches up here. Let's roll over the joker up here, and we've scored 500 points by rolling over that joker. Let's hit a drop target. We should score 1,000. Oh, we scored 2,000. That's interesting. Okay, how many of this one? 2,000. Oh, that's right, there's the answer. I just checked with Graham, he knows all the game rules pretty well. It's because we got one joker out, you pay 2,000. So, if we were to lose that ball, which we will now, and drain it, and we fire another ball and we just hit the pop up here and score 100 points, now that one will only pay 1,000. So for each joker you get out, you add 1,000 to it. Very good. Okay, so down the side lanes here, We score 500. That's all good. Now, if we get all the jokers out, all the lights light up on the playfield, and we should be able to get some good scoring. We've also got the hole lit here. It's a bit hard to see from there, but all the green, white and pink lights are out. That's for each joker. I'm not sure if, yeah, pink, purple. Probably supposed to be purple, is it? I don't know. Anyway, now if I hit the joker up the top here, sorry, the drop target, 12, so let's go. You get 4,000 points. That's pretty cool, hey? So in the middle here you can see we've got 2 kings or 2 jacks out, and we've got 2 jacks out here, so we get 1,000, and we can then get 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 for a royal flush, which is a ace, king, queen, jack and 10. So as I said earlier on, this is one of those Krinsky games which is fairly complex in its scoring, and it will have one of those masking circuits in it which we were talking about on our last video on, what was it, Grand Slam, where we had the thing scoring 2,000 points instead of 1,000 points. So that's where you got to know the game. Or see, at first I got a bit confused. Why did it score 2,000 on one joker? It was because I'd already rolled over or hit a joker. Now let's do a little further testing. We've got the 3 jokers out and we've got all these lights on. Let's roll over 3,000. Oh, what happened there? Now that didn't work. Let's hit a drop target. Nor did that work. Let's go in the hole. It's not working. Why would that be? Well, this warrants a little bit of investigation. Well, just check these down here. No. No, nothing's working. It's not paying 3,000 on rollovers. Why would that be? Well, look, let's have a look at the schematic and we'll see what we can figure out. Okay, so that's the 1,000 point relay isn't firing. That's the L for Larry relay located on position 7D on the schematic. 7D. Can't be far away. There it is. Now, let's have a look here. So here's motor 1A, and then you come across and we've got motor 4C, 1B, 3B and 2C, all normally closed switches that come along and go through the G relay, which is the hole relay, H for hole, and come down and fire that 1,000 point or L relay. So, we were talking about masking circuits earlier on, and this is exactly what this is, a masking circuit with the normally closed switches. Now, because it's not working off the first one, we know that 1A is working because it's been paying 500 points as we illustrated previously. So what I'm going to look at, I'm suspecting we have a problem with this switch here at 4C, this normally closed switch with a maroon wire. If that wasn't working right, we're not going to be able to get a circuit across here to the L relay. So see how it works? We'll come backwards up here, through here, and across to here. So let's go and have a look at that now and see what we can discover. Oh, we need to be looking for a maroon and white and a maroon wire. Maroon and white. Maroon always fades. So yeah, it just didn't seem to have quite enough pressure on. Now you'll remember we said earlier in the video that the score motor switches were all dirty. I did clean them with Kero and then let that dry and then gave them a hit of isopropyl, and then we went over each one of them with the file, but you know, it's always possible to have missed one. But so I've re-cleaned it and adjusted it, and let's see what happens. Let's see if it's fixed our problem. Well, we won't know that yet, will we? Because the machine's game over. So it's probably a good idea to start a new game anyway, isn't it? Because we had trouble at the startup. Right, well, that served the ball. Okay, great. Let's just see, make sure it's scoring. Pop bumper's working. Scoring there. Let's get all the jokers out. Okay, so we've all got those lights on now for the scoring. You can see the white light up here. Now let's run 3,000. 5,600. Try another one down here. 8,600. So beautiful. That switch was our problem. So that's good. We've rectified another fault. Now, from here, what I think we'll do is just check one or two more things and see that that all works, and then we should be pretty well good to go. Let's knock down all the drop targets. One didn't score there, I probably just didn't hit it hard enough. 500, 3,000, 5,000. And specials are now on. It's a bit hard to see, so we'll get a replay. There it is, beautiful. So it's all working pretty much. The opening part of the video here, or not the opening part, but in the middle, we heard when we turned the game on, the game over relay was making a bit of a noise, so I'll have to have a look at that, but that's just going to be the armature. Shouldn't be too difficult to find. Oh, Spanky just reminded me to tell you that the game he'd noticed before wasn't matching on player 1. It would match on player 2 but not player 1. So we've set up a match there. Look at that, it works. Now simply what the problem there was in the back of the game, in the 10-point score reel on number 1, the wiper finger wasn't touching properly. Now we were able to visualise that. We spoke about that in another video recently, and that was discovered to be not the problem, but in this case it was the problem. The other video, it was a switch in the match circuit from memory, and you do have a switch in the match circuit here, but the wiper finger. We can still hear that game over relay humming a little bit. Sorry about that. I'll start a new game up to get rid of that noise. And there we go, we've served a ball out. Now, all said and done, we can see the drop targets are all resetting as they should, which was a major problem for us, having to make that part. But it was either that or we could have got one. A couple of people offered us those reset bars complete. But, you know, shipping from the US could take anywhere 3 weeks, roughly, you know, and the guy wants his machine back, so it wasn't difficult to do that. That engineering took, you know, not too long, maybe an hour, hour and a half to get it correct. But it's all done now. So all the lights are working, the lights in the back box are all working. So this is reasonably well good to go. We obviously need to do a bit more testing on it, which we certainly will, for sure and certain. That's not a problem. I'm just trying to think if there was anything else we need to tell you or check on this. I think I mentioned earlier about the ASFS relay under the playfield. It's called the I relay, which is the bonus relay or the bonus stepper. So unlike a lot of games that's got the bigger step unit under the playfield to do the scoring, they used the smaller one, and we didn't have the arrows going up and down 1000, 2000, 3000 as they go up. And what we found was that the just that match unit was a little bit dirty, and you know, we pulled that apart and serviced it for reliability, as you have to do. They are fiddly, but please remember we've done a video on these, and look, you won't maybe get it right first go. I mean, we still have trouble with them sometimes. They're a wonderful little thing, aren't they? They're a real problem, but once you get them dialed in, they're really good. They work okay. And I always put a little bit of PBR grease on the printed circuit board these days, and helps it move around a lot easier. Makes life better for that pinball machine. So while I've been making this video, Graham's been here in the front shed hanging our new goat shed sign. Now, it looks really good, doesn't it? So we've hung it on like a wall here. We're going to have a separate one made for outside on the front doors, but it looks pretty good, so I just thought I'd take the opportunity to show you that. Now look, viewers, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, give us the thumbs up on our videos, and make any comments that you want down below. And remember to hit that bell button so you're reminded by YouTube of when we put up a new video. That's quite important to us, to get as many viewers as possible. So on the note of the sign, and I think we could end this video now. So this has been another Goat Shed presentation.